So you've been on your healing journey, you've done all the things, you've done breath work, you meditated, you've been to a couple of retreats, but still you think and you feel that you're stuck in these emotional loops that just won't leave. Today we want to talk about a certain pattern that I observe in people in the healing space that keeps them trapped. Because oftentimes the impulse to heal, the need to heal, the desire to heal is exactly what keeps you from healing. Could be the case. I know it's a bold claim, but the pain and the healing, so the original suffering that you're bearing and the means to, heal that are forming an identity. You see this in new age spiritual circles and also in the coaching industry that identities are getting forged around pain. Like healing becomes your whole life and it becomes your identity. And we find even more fancy words and like where we are filling our backpacks with descriptors of who we might be. Like I'm an avoidant attached ISFP that is neurodivergent and I'm a perfectionist as well. I'm an empath, like all of these terms. And we are psychologizing our whole life. So what I'm talking about here is that one of the reasons why you might be stuck on your healing journey is that you are trapped in your healing identity or in your pain identity. So you're doing all of these things to relieve a pain that you may not have been feeling in the first place. So why are so many people holding on to that identity? It's very simple. Because they don't know what's on the other side. If you've been healing your whole life, if you've been identified with your pain, consciously or subconsciously, then getting rid of that identification means death. It means identity death. It means a building, a structure is collapsing that have been holding your soul, that have been holding your whole life in place. And if that just, is taken apart, that is destroyed, what are you left with? What are you left with if the impulse to heal, if the impulse to identify with your pain is gone? What if you can just be present? What if there's nothing to heal? For most people, that's a very, very scary thought because pain has become their home. And maybe if you're listening right now, this resonates with you. Let that really sink in. What if your pain has become your home? What if you're really, really cozy in your pain? What if it's the only place that you've known? What if the streets in which all of the parts are living, what if the street in which this home has been built, where all the different parts of you that are wounded are living, is the only place that you know? I remember a story that I heard about like an elderly woman here in the rural area near Hamburg in Germany. There's been tales of women that never left their village. They never did. You can say that's not true and whatnot, but I think there's people who are really, really holding on to their home. And what happens then if you're not leaving your village, if you're not leaving what is known to you, you are cutting yourself off from the vast array of possibilities that are there as well. And that is scary, because it's scary to give up the identity that you forged around healing. It's like, it's like the healing identity and the pain is like a stable ground that you can stand on. And then if you take that away, there's the abyss. But the thing is, the abyss is there, whether you want it or not. You cannot just cover up a pain that is deep, deep down within you that wants to be felt. So maybe that identity needs to collapse in order for you to fall into that pit and see what is there. And maybe you need to be brave enough, strong enough, courageous enough, willing enough to go there. Maybe you need a good company like a therapist or a group of friends or like your embodied self that is accompanying you on that journey. So these parts of you that think your identity of pain is your home, they're simultaneously homeless because they feel that the home that they are living in is not safe. It's like a home that has chronically like open windows and all of the ceiling is screeching and there's like demons and all of that. Like it's not a good home. It's not a good home. And these parts are basically chronically afraid in that home, but they don't know an alternative. They've never left that home. So these parts are homeless because they didn't find belonging. If pain is your home and you feel unsafe within that home, you really feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'm just stuck here. I can't escape. Then have you felt true belonging? Probably not. Why is that? And what do I mean by belonging in the first place? I don't necessarily mean belonging to a community. I mean belonging in your body. Are you connected with your body? Have you made friends with your body? Have you made friends with your internal family? Have you found belonging within your incarnated self here on earth in the present? Because that ultimately is what these parts are longing for. These parts are desperately clenching on, like holding on to that identity that is painful, that they forgot that it's not really theirs to begin with, that there's no alternative, that there's no home out there where they can go into like in front of a nice fireplace and just relax and enjoy. So most of the pain that we're looping in is happening up here. One of the reasons why you're looping in your pain is because your pain is happening up here. And I'm not even talking about pain because I want to make an important distinction in this video. And, there's, you can think about it like in any way you want. I would just want to emphasize something here. And that distinction is pain and suffering. There's a difference between pain and suffering. And I want to illustrate that. Because suffering is what's happening up here. Suffering is what's happening when we're looping. Suffering is when we're not getting in touch with pain. The pain is here. The pain is in your heart. The pain is the emotion that you're not willing to feel. And that's why you're looping and suffering. You're recreating life circumstances. You're recreating all of these different patterns, but you're not feeling the pain that is underneath. Why is that? Because you're living your life up here, in your head. And you've been cut off your head from the place that your parts want to belong to, which is your body. So why are you looping in these patterns? There is many reasons for that. It could be many reasons for that, but I want to emphasize the possibility that it is because you haven't started feeling safe in your body yet. And I understand it so well because I've been living with chronic pain for many years, still live with it from time to time, and I am guiding like many clients through similar topics. Being present, mindfulness, like all of these terms, they are not easy. They are not like a little quote that you put on your calendar. Being embodied can be a terrifying business. There's a reason why all of your energy is going up here. There's a reason why you're looping up here. There's a reason why you're ruminating. There's a reason why you cannot access this here. Because it requires a lot of intention and attention. Intention and attention. And persistence and courage. Because usually what people find when they enter their body is a lot of frustration because there's generally numbness. And we're going to talk about numbness in the next video because I think that numbness is oftentimes connected to a lie because you never feel nothing. Like that's just impossible. You're always feeling something when you're descending your consciousness down into your body. And oftentimes it's not pleasant. And then you might understand why you're keeping like looping in these thought patterns. Like why this relentless inner critic is so loud. Because your body is under chronic tension. And of course, when a body is under chronic tension, if there's a lot of pain in here, I'm going to create a lot of thoughts in order to not feel that here. Because the primal emotion that is waiting under these patterns, under these distractions, is extremely painful to bear. And we want to be even compassionate with that. We want to be compassionate with the fact that our anger or grief is so painful to feel that we covered it up. No, this is not, I'm sounding, it sounds pretty intense what I'm talking about now, and to some degree it is very intense, but I don't want to make you more afraid than you need to be, because I don't think that fear is the way. I think that relationship is the way. I think it is important that you first notice when you are looping in a certain situation and in a certain thought pattern, and you feel like, why am I always feeling and experiencing the same thing? It's a very complex issue, and I can't give you like the full answer in a single video. This is like a full course that I could do on this. But I want to give you one perspective. Maybe it is because in your body, there's a part of you that hasn't found a home it feels safe in yet. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's fear that is homeless, that is like living in a shed somewhere, that is scary. There's no warmth. There's no welcoming there. It's exiled. It's raining. It's moldy. It's disgusting. The antidote is relationship. Like I said, first noticing that this part is there in the first place, and then asking, can I be with that? Can I allow it? Very, very slow steps. And what we're doing here is we are creating a vessel for the emotion to surface in its own pace. And that's so crucial to understand. You cannot force these things. It's impossible. You can try to force them, but it won't work. Emotions are autonomous. They're energy in motion. They're energy that is moving through you autonomously. You cannot push the happiness, press the happiness button or press the sadness button and then be sad all of a sudden. Trained actors, they can do that, but that's a whole nother story. You get what I mean. Emotions are autonomous. They are arising within you, and you encounter the emotion, and the emotion is encountering you. That's the same for every sensation. You cannot just press a button and make your tension go away. Why is that? Because your tension wants to be met. Pressing the button and making the tension go away is not the solution. Because in the relationship with the tension, in the relationship with the parts of us that we've suppressed, we might find that they're holding a very, very important piece of knowledge. It's a part that we've been cutting off that has a whole story, that has a whole array of memories. That is a part that is craving intimacy and feeling deeply, deeply understood and seen. And again, that part is autonomous. The only thing we can do is build a relationship towards that part. And then with grace and with time, we can provide enough safety for the part so it can show up, enter our life through the numbness, and we can ask it questions. We can be with it. We can relate to it. Ask it for what it needs, what its story is, what it is protecting us from. All of these questions. We can be curious. But in order to be curious about something, there needs to be something. There needs to be a distinction between me and the thing, the part in that moment, or the feeling within you. So that's very important. So we want to turn up the volume knob of our body. And what happens then automatically is that the ruminating thoughts and the repeating emotional patterns and life patterns, like all of these things, they are decreasing simultaneously. So we're like increasing the volume in our body, like we're reducing the anesthesia in our body. And what happens automatically is then that the thoughts are becoming less and there's more clarity emerging. Because the thoughts, the rumination, is what's covering this dimension here up. So feel your body, feel your feelings, be courageous, be brave. I hope this video gave you a new perspective. I hope this video is helping you exiting your loops and finding peace. And if you enjoyed that video, then leave me a like, comment if you feel it, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.